All right, what's up, everybody? So I have some free time today and not really doing much. I wanted to put out a video just because I'm bored and I want to provide some value. And there's nothing for me to provide in terms of actionable analysis, at least not for Bitcoin. But what I can do is give you a way of approaching the market in a more efficient manner. And this is something that has drastically changed the way that I approach the market. It's drastically changed how much time I spend in front of screens. It's drastically increased my profitability. So it's really key. And it's going to sound really, really fucking stupid because there is this notion that things that are simple aren't worth our time, right? They're not worthy of our time. It's too simple. It needs to be more complex in order to be alpha or value, right? It's a really, really dumb fallacy. In fact, I have a 4 second rule, right? Which basically means that within the first 4 seconds, and I might have talked about this before in one of my previous videos. I might even have a video on this already. Truthfully, I don't actually know. But I know I've talked about this before for all of you who study my videos and use this as a study tool. 4 second rule, right? Which means that within the first 4 seconds of looking at a chart, you need to be able to tell me what is the chart doing. I'm not talking about trend lines. I'm not talking about drawing boxes, drawing moving averages or anything, right? No indicators, no nothing. Not sitting here assessing the market structure. Within 4 seconds of looking at a chart, you have to be able to tell me what is that chart doing on that specific time frame, right? Because guess what? If I go ask a 10-year-old, right? If I go ask little Timmy, he's going to be able to tell me. So if you can't, and you're a technical analyst and you have, this edge and alpha and blah, 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 what is the fucking point, right? What is the point? If you can't tell me which way a chart is headed within 4 seconds of looking at it, then maybe, right, you don't actually know what you're doing, or you don't know what you're looking at for that specific asset and you need to just simply move on, right? Fuck off, go do something else, go trade something else if you can't tell me. Because at the end of the day, these are your four options, right? We're either heading to this top right corner, we're either heading to this bottom right corner, we're either consolidating sideways in the form of a range. So neither of these, right? A mixture of equal highs and equal lows relatively, or you're consolidating, right? You have lower highs, but you're finding higher lows. So this is neither of these two. This is a mixture of both of these two, right? But those are your four options. You only ever have four options on whatever time frame. So if you wanted to break it down, right, if you look at Bitcoin on the weekly, you know just as well as I know, just as well as little Timmy knows, which way that's headed, right? And then you break it down further. So now we have an understanding that, okay, when we look at Bitcoin on the weekly chart, it's downtrending. Beautiful. You just gave yourself some context to work with, right? What is Bitcoin doing as of the past 4 months? Well, it's not really going up. It's not really going down. It's kind of just doing a sideways. Okay, sideways in the form of what? Well, I would argue sideways in the form of a range, right? Boom. You have an analysis right there. That is context. That is now a foundation for you to build off of. And this is especially valuable, right? So don't just exit out of the video here. Oh, he's just discussing a 4 second concept, blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. This is valuable when you're doing market scans, right? I don't know if you guys know this, but I literally journal the market every single day. I've done this for the past 3 years now, right? I've journaled the market every single day, whether it's a video journal or a quick couple paragraphs about whatever the market is doing, at least whatever the things that I deem relevant, right? So let's say Bitcoin dominance, if you discuss or if you think Bitcoin dominance is extremely useful to you for whatever reason, right? A lot of people argue it is. A lot of people argue it's fucking terrible, right? But if you think Bitcoin dominance is extremely valuable, then you need to be updating your thoughts on Bitcoin dominance, right? Maybe not on a high time frame basis, but at least update, whatever has changed in the meantime and anything that needs to be taken note of, right? And break it down time frame by time frame. So continue. Okay, what's going on in the 4 hour? Well, we're going sideways again, right? Do this, journal your thoughts down, but also when you go to scan the market and you're looking for opportunity that is, there in the market waiting to be grasped, then apply this exact same rule. Apply this exact same thought process, right? This is exactly how I do it. When I scan the market and when I journal the market, this is my thought process. And then you can start to add more detail to it, right? Then you can start to say, hey, how am I justifying little Timmy's arbitrary thoughts of, well, when I look at this 4-hour time frame, as of the past month, we're basically just going sideways, right? Little Timmy can tell me that just as well as I can tell you that, just as well as you already knew that, right? But then how are you going to justify it? How are you going to take little Timmy's very, very vague analysis and turn it into something that you can actually then go and trade, right? And then that's where you start to pull out, your speculation, your trend lines, your moving averages, your indicators, your, awesome oscillators, whatever, right? Then you start to pull out that kind of stuff, market structure, candlestick trading, whatever it is that you have managed to master or are trying to attempt to master, right? But I promise you, you're going to find that this really helps you become more efficient as a market participant. When you enter the market and go and look to approach it in the first place, it's going to set you up in a much better sort of manner with a much greater foundation because you're quickly getting rid of the bullshit. You're not spending so much time, draining your mental on a chart that looks like this. Instead, you're going to do a market scan, and I have a list of every coin on Binance. I don't trade on Binance, I trade on Bybit, but still, I chart on Binance, even for BTC. I don't trade on Coinbase, right? I mean, heavy spot and stuff, whatever, that's my primary exchange, but I don't trade on Coinbase, I still chart on Coinbase. So I have a Binance futures list, and it just has, I think, probably 90% of the coins that are on Binance, at least the more liquid ones. And I'll just sit here and I just press spacebar. Right, spacebar just skips to whatever the next asset in your list is, if you didn't know. Right, so we have SPY. Oh wow, that's a downtrend. Cool, keep it going. Oh, downtrend, 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 downtrend. Do we see how immediately every single coin that I just listed doesn't even get my interest? It's not even worthy of my interest. I'm immediately cutting out the bullshit. I'm only going to have this appeal to something that is not looking like this within the first 4 seconds of me looking at the chart. And when you apply this sort of way of thinking, you're going to find yourself in a much better situation over the long term because you're going to be participating in the more sort of thriving opportunities, right? The more thriving areas of the market, the altcoins that are actually going up. So look, Anchor, this is a scam pump or whatever, but it did just break its market structure. So maybe it's going to show some strength if we get a pullback into this resistance, right? That's an analysis within a couple seconds. That's a downtrend. This is a downtrend, downtrend, downtrend. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at within the first 4 seconds, so I don't want to touch this, right? Downtrend, ugly. Downtrend, downtrend, downtrend. You can keep going, right? And we're going to keep going until I see something that has even somewhat of my attention. So I find XRP, I'm like, oh, wow, that's kind of heading to the top right corner. Now I need to break down my analysis further, right? So my way of approaching the market is 200 moving averages along with market structure and gray boxes of support and resistance, right? So first thing I'll do is I'll scale out. I'll say, okay, well, let me draw some areas of resistance, some areas of interest for me. And then I'll go ahead and do, okay, well, it looks like there might be some resistance somewhere over here. And as far as supports, right, we might see something like over there. This is just the way that I draw my gray boxes. You can totally disagree. That's absolutely fine, right? They're arbitrary. It's just to give me a portrayal for my puny little brain as to what is support and what's resistance, right? So now I have my boxes on a higher time frame, so I'll zoom in. I'll say, okay, what about do we have any lower time frame supports and resistances that I need to be taking note of? And I'll say, okay, well, there's actually, it looks like we might have a nice little 4-hour support somewhere over here. Okay, so we're testing that as support. That's nice, and we might have a nice little 4-hour resistance somewhere around there. right? So now we have like a little bit of a range as of not the entirety of the past month, but for a large portion of the past month. So now we have some areas to work with. Okay, what about a trend? What's the current trend for local price action? Well, this is a lower low, and that's a lower high, but then that's a higher low, but then that's a lower high. Oh, look, within 4 seconds, we can understand that that is sideways price action, right? That's pretty choppy, it's pretty ugly. So that probably tells you that whatever trend you're gonna look for is probably getting chopped up and not respected any further. And that's just from me using my system for so long. And then we go to something like, because we want to determine a trend, right? We want to have something be applicable to XRP in the form of 200 moving averages to portray a trend that we already understand. We already understand that we're going sideways for XRP, right? We can justify that 10-year-old thesis with or that like very stupid fifth grader mentality, right? We can justify that with something like our 2-hour 200 moving averages. So our 2-hour 200 moving averages previously got respected beautifully as, macro support, macro tops. Obviously, this is pretty choppy, but eventually we expand, we continue the trend in the form of structure. Uptrend, little Timmy can tell us that that is heading to the top right corner, and the 2-hour 200s agree with that idea. And it just so happens to be that they get respected beautifully, just as we had kind of gotten used to them doing, right? And then we continue that trend, again, we even continue it again, and oh look, now all of a sudden, we broke down, right? That justifies bearish price action. That means that, oh, maybe the trend is broken, right? We can't justify little Timmy's thoughts anymore, so maybe we need to start preparing for some serious downside in the form of a, nasty little downtrend. And then we reclaim that trend again, right? And then we reclaim that trend again. We're like, oh, this is a deviation. This is a fluke. It's a fake out. It was a bear trap. It was a liquidity sweep. It was whatever bullshit, useless, arbitrary definition that you want to apply to justify why you expected downside and you didn't get the downside, to the degree that you thought you would. You only got negative 8%, right? So we only got negative 8%. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. You might have managed to miss out on some pain, but that's not really what we were looking for. We were looking for downtrend. We didn't get that. So this must mean that this is a fluke. It's a deviation. It was a bear trap. It was a liquidity sweep. And now we're going to reclaim the trend and run it back turbo all over again, right? And then you don't, right? So now what happens when you reclaim the trend again? You probably are not going to take note of it anymore. Why? Because you understand that the trend is, at this point, there is no trend, right? So now we've broken down an analysis on XRP. You can have bullish arguments, you can have bearish arguments. Why? Because we're trading in the form of a range. So to me, if I'm not looking to trade something that's ranging, I'm not interested in XRP. Okay, cool. Spacebar. Keep it moving, right? Bitcoin dominance. Oh, look, that's an uptrend. Cool. Keep it moving. We keep on with this exact same way of scanning the market. You're only going to give things attention that are worthy of your attention. Does engine look worthy of your attention? Well, to me, it absolutely does not, right? That looks like pain on a chart. That looks like chaos on a chart. Probably not something I want to participate in. You keep it moving, keep going. Oh, look, H-bars kind of starting to reclaim a nice little trend here, right? So maybe that's something that might have your eye, or might catch your attention, or might catch your eye, right? Chili's, okay, just broke down below a trend. Probably not something I want to touch. Oh, look, Ocean's just starting to break out, right? Maybe I'll look for a breakout pullback play on Ocean. So hopefully you guys are getting the point. You can continue this process, and I'm just going to continue running through, and you're going to see in your own brain, right, how not even within 4 seconds, within like a half of a second, you already understand at this point, now that I've pointed it out to you, what the market is doing, what that chart is doing specifically. Is it going up? Is it going down? Or is it going sideways? And if it's sideways, in the form of what, right? You can break things down. You can give yourself a way of approaching the market, put yourself in a much better position than 99% of other people that are trying to trade this market, because you're only going to be paying attention to things that are valuable, right? And are worthy of your time and have that potential to bring you some sort of real reward, right? So those are my thoughts. I know it's pretty simple. It might sound kiddish, but truthfully, this like concept has proved to be invaluable to me. So, it's like that saying of a wise man hides a leaf in the forest, right? It's the first thing. It's the most simplest concept, and it's so extremely valuable that you just kind of glance over it. You just kind of deem it not worthy of being applied, and it absolutely is. It's definitely a worthy concept to add into your tool belt, especially when you want to consider scanning the market, trying to find trending coins on your own so that you can put yourself in a nice position to take advantage of whatever the next hype narrative is, or bullshit FA or whatever, right? Be in those sorts of coins without even having to do a lot of that research and digging and narrative building and whatever, right? So I hope you guys found this valuable. If you did, do the usual YouTube influencer bullshit: like, comment, subscribe, share this with your grandmother, all that cool stuff. At the moment, I am doing a Bybit giveaway. Anyone who signs up to my ref link and deposits $10 to that new account is automatically entered to win a PS5. So that lasts until the month of October. So if you're interested, all you got to do is sign up through my Bybit referral link and deposit $10. A lot of you have signed up, but you didn't deposit $10. So you're not really eligible. You're not going to be counted into that giveaway. So if you want to try and win a PS5, I'll be 100% transparent with you. There's about 20 people already signed up to that ref link in the month of October. So you have about a 5% chance to win a PS5. Right? Pretty damn good if you're going to ask me, but I don't know. Right? I'm obviously very biased. So much love, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and take it easy.